Hello guys, welcome back to another stream/slash video, and today I'm starting a new series called The Run-In, focusing on the championship. I mean, we've got a playoff race at the moment and what looks like it could be a relegation race. So we're going to focus on the playoff race and focus on my club, Nottingham Forest, with my panel. First we've got LJP. Hello Luke.
Hello there.
So how are you doing today?
Great. Absolutely terrific.
And then we've also got Rant. Hello Rant. Make sure you go check out their channels. Raj does vlogs for Forest home games. Luke does
Waffle.
opinion videos.
Really, really good waffle. Honestly, if you like waffles or just waffle in general, check me out because waffle's good.
Waffles are good.
Yeah. Cracking waffle.
Anyway, continue.
So, scrolling along the bottom in the ticker are our games for the rest of the season. But we're just going to do virtually like season review in general, and I've got some. We'll start on this. Forest players on international duty. So we mentioned backstage there that James Garner is starting for England under 21s tonight, and Brennan Johnson starting for Wales. And obviously Lara with his national team's got through to World Cup. So it's been a pretty decent international break for Forest players on international duty.
Oh yes. Sorry. Yeah, I've just realised there's a possibility that Man United could sell James Garner permanently, and the possibilities. Yeah.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, it's fantastic, really, isn't it? It's seeing Forest players playing for the country, whether it's youth level or senior. We're going to get a Forest player at the World Cup with Larea, and I'd like to actually see him wear a Forest shirt at some point. So, I know we've got Jed and Lowe ahead of him, but Lowe's injured. So, I'd like to see Richard Larea actually get a crack at some point. And he can play on the left, so I think it wouldn't go amiss, especially when you probably would prefer to play Colback in midfield rather than on the left. I think obviously Brennan, he came on against Austria, which was obviously a gigantic result for Wales, starting today in a friendly. Jimmy and Jed obviously are playing for the England youth team. So, it's good to see them get a few minutes as well. Hopefully Spence can come on as well. It's a shame that those two are lone players, but as we can see, we've got hope that they might become permanent Forest players at some point soon.
Yeah, so we touched on international duty and you touched on the World Cup there. Obviously, it looks like it could be Scotland. If Scotland get through Ukraine, it could be Scotland Wales in the World Cup qualifier to decide who gets through to the World Cup. Who would you want out of Scotland or Wales, to make it through to World Cup as a home nation?
Well, I mean, me personally, I prefer Wales because, I don't. It's not like Forest v Derby, but if there was an international rival with England, it's probably Scotland. And I mean, I don't look at Scotland and think, oh, that's funny that they lost or something. I don't really care. I don't really mind. And I go to Wales quite a bit, so I don't really mind Wales as a country or anything. And they've got a decent team, so it'd be interesting to see two home nations have to go against each other. I actually remember, I think it was the last World Cup, Wales had to play Ireland to get to the, I don't know what the last World Cup, it was definitely some kind of tournament, and they had to play Ireland to qualify and they lost. They're used to this kind of situation seemingly, but hopefully they can win it this time.
Luke, what are your thoughts on that question? Who would you rather get through?
Yeah, probably like David, Wales, because we played Scotland more recently and it was an absolute ball fest. And I think was the last time we played Wales, was it Euro 2016? I'd rather not talk about that, but yeah, I still want to play Wales.
We played them in a friendly actually, 2020.
Oh, a friendly, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not that important.
Okay, we've got a comment from a Coventry fan here called Harry. If Forest win the next few games, I think they can make playoffs. The only game I don't want them to win is against Coventry. Understandably, because it's your own team. But yeah, we'll go on to obviously our main. Harry pointed on it there. Will we get playoffs? But we'll leave that until the end of the stream. But just get into a general season review, and we may as well. Where should we start other than Steve Cooper? What a job that man has done.
Oh yes, what a very, very nice job he's done. Great.
Turning into Dom now, my vlog.
But yeah, I think he's going to be in the running for manager of the season. I'm not having any of this Wayne Rooney business. I don't care if he's been working with a budget of £2.50 and a Freddo. Steve Cooper's got to be higher up in the manager of the season than Wayne Rooney. He's taken Forest from bottom of the league to strong playoff candidates in 6 months, and he's lost. I think in the league, was it 3-4 games in his tenure? He's done a terrific job, and I think he definitely deserves all the plaudits he's getting.
Yeah. I mean, I think he should be manager of the year, to be fair. I mean, there's not many other candidates, to be honest. I mean, maybe you could look at someone like Neil Critchley for doing as well as he is doing with Blackpool. Maybe I know Huddersfield are kind of been derailed by Forest, but maybe Carlos Corbejan as well. But for me, it has to be Cooper. It's going to be biased, but I think most people can say that. Just how we did in the FA Cup against such good opposition. Even Huddersfield, obviously, were one of the best teams in the Championship at the time anyway, and probably still are. And yeah, what can we say? Like, there's no words to describe what that man's done for this club. And just, no matter what happens, it's been a very memorable season.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, you mentioned Carlos Corbejan there. Obviously, I think you two. I think you put them. Where did you two put in your predictions? Where did you put Huddersfield?
22nd, but we won't talk about that.
23rd. We're not going to talk about that either.
Nathan Jones. That's a Luton manager, isn't he?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. Yeah, I think definitely Nathan Jones as well.
Because, I mean, it's just a mad story that Luton have had. Like, 2014, they were in the conference, and now they're on the brink of the Premier League where they could have the stars of world football playing at Luton. And
yeah,
I mean,
it's mad.
I mean, Jed Spence will be coming there on Good Friday, so that's already one star of world football going to Kenilworth Road.
Absolutely. Yes.
that is a good chant.
That is a very, very nice chant.
I mean, yeah, from what Cooper's done at Forest, I mean, we've gone from Houghton for 7 games playing like really negative football and that.
Fine margins.
To Steve Cooper now playing really good attacking football and that. And I mean, I never expected us to, when we got Arsenal, I never expected us to beat Arsenal. And then obviously we beat Leicester. I was like, oh my days. I think we were all just shocked after those 2 Arsenal and Leicester games and that, weren't we?
Yeah.
Ridiculous, yeah. Right. Honestly, I think about it quite a lot. Like I said quite a few times last year, really difficult to pick one of my favourite moments. Whereas this season, it's really tough to narrow it down. Like there's been that many. We're talking atmospheres at the stadium. Like, there's been so many amazing moments this year that we'll look back on very fondly. It's nice to be able to say that after last 20 years has been pretty negative at Forest. It's an understatement. Apart from a few decent moments, he's not been the best. So it's fantastic to see the club properly being revitalised. And I agree with that comment as well. I mean,
Yeah.
it really pains to know what if Cooper was here at the start of the season, would be top 3 maybe. Like, yes, it's only 7 games, but that could end up being quite significant for all we know.
Yeah, it could be very significant in the playoff race. Main playoff rivals in the race. As I'm just creating a new banner. As
I mean,
yeah,
you say, I think, sorry to jump in, it's just
it's
a
all
lot
right.
of people were saying like those 7 games aren't a lot, but that's 21 points available there, and we missed out on 20 because we obviously got that 1 point against Wayne Rooney's Derby County. So, and it's a big if, but if you say you pick up all 21 of those points, look, it puts you top, I think, or at least second. So yeah, it's a massive what if, but yeah, I think as Blue Terrier said, I think Chris Hughton was. I think we should have really got rid of him at the end of last season because I think we brought him in as aspiration to push for the playoffs. And if 17th is a playoff place, then he did an excellent job. But he sort of steadied the ship, which isn't really what we wanted. We wanted us to push for the playoffs. I think it would have worked maybe on an interim basis better, but it didn't. And I don't think he really did what he came in to do. He sort of came in to get a 26 win percentage. I mean, Wayne Rooney's doing that. He's getting statues built. So,
yeah, that is a good question. Like the what if. Obviously, we played Coventry, Bournemouth, Blackburn, Stoke, Derby, Cardiff, and Middlesbrough in those 7 games before Hutton got sacked. How many points do you reckon we would have picked up if Cooper was in charge?
I mean, I think the early games we probably would have struggled to beat would have been. I mean, if you think about it, it was actually quite a difficult start to the season, regardless, because Coventry ended up doing a lot better than we thought, and they tailed off. Bournemouth are going to go up. Blackburn are slightly tailing off, obviously, but they've been a lot better than we expected. Stoke, yeah, they probably would have won that because they're not doing well now anyway. They're just Stoke, aren't they? Derby probably would have won, in my opinion. But then again, it's a Derby, so the Derby probably more up for it. But then again, they fight to the end, so you never know. And then,
60 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, Cardiff probably. I mean, then again, we lost to Cardiff under Cooper, which was probably the only genuinely bad performance under Steve Cooper, and that was short-lived. And then Borough, who probably would have lost because it's Borough and they always beat us. But yeah, overall, we definitely would have got a lot more points, to be honest.
I think we would have got 15 instead of 1.
Probably about that.
So this is Blue Terriers top 6: Fulham, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, Huddersfield, Forest, and Luton. I mean, is it in that order, Blue Terrier, or did you just write it like that?
I don't know.
Because I think we'll get onto that later. But now on to like Cooper and that. So the first start of the Cooper era was well, we got off to good. Obviously, we had Andy Reid in charge, wasn't it, for Huddersfield away?
Stephen Reid.
Stephen.
Yeah.
And then Steve Cooper took over the game after, which I think his first game was Millwall, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which we drew. And then it was I think it's Blackpool, Birmingham, and Bristol City. I'm not sure
Let me get the
when.
fixtures.
We played Barnsley, didn't we, after?
Yeah, so
Millwall.
it went in, obviously. We beat Huddersfield then. First game, 1-1 draw with Millwall. Then we've got a 3-1 win away at Oakwell. Then Birmingham, then Blackpool, then Bristol, then Fulham. Those are first 2 games.
Then our first loss come against Fulham, which
Parachute Payments FC.
which if you look at that game, we probably the scoreline probably didn't reflect the whole game.
No,
1-0.
not at all. No, that 4-0 against Fulham was one of the most undeserved 4-0 wins I've ever seen. Like, Fulham were all right, but there weren't anything. They weren't 4-0 winning, were they? Even, I mean, this says everything about the mentality of the Steve Cooper side. 4-0 down, I mean, we won't just give it up. I mean, even we could admit we weren't going to win that game, but we were still at the very least trying. But the ref was generally one of the worst refs I've ever seen. But that's the case of most games. But that ref in particular was especially horrendous. So yeah, I mean, that video I did with a compilation of all refereeing, a lot of them were from that game.
I'm surprised that you didn't get over now for that video, David. I'm surprised.
I mean, if I filmed the entire match for 90 minutes, it probably would have been, because there was quite a few moments I didn't even film that I could have quite easily put in. But yeah, it says everything about the championship officiating. But yeah, I agreed. It wasn't a 4-0 scoreline ultimately.
And then we had QPR right after like a West London double. And if I remember that game, we should have at least had one penalty in that game.
Oh yeah, I think the first one was from Jono was pushed over. That was a bit of a 50-50 one. I think there is contact, but I don't know if it's enough to go down. The Spence one is 100% the penalty. I think if I remember correctly, defender lunges in or slides in. And Spence, it's very similar to how the Liverpool penalty appeal was. Spence knocks the ball past, I think it's Rob Dickie, and then he gets taken down. I think that is a Stonewall penalty, that one. And yeah, I think we should have definitely scored at least one goal in the first half. Then they scored. Then there was like a 20-minute period second half where they were the better side, and then we nicked it at the end thanks to Super Jackie Colback, proving that he is the Ginger Pirlo.
Okay, and then after that we virtually went on like a little bit. November was a bit like we had 4 draws and 1 win, so obviously we didn't lose in that month, but we didn't win as many games as we should
Draw
have.
heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this, Reading, I think we had like so many chances in that game to win, didn't we?
We should have won
to,
that.
like, grab a second, and then
Should have put
they
4
punish
in
us.
that game as well.
And then Luton, I remember correctly, they got a penalty.
Yeah.
It was saved by Bryce Samba. And then the West Brom game, what happened? Oh yeah, they got a red card.
Really.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. If you want to analyse the West Brom game, say nothing happened. Other than a red card, but that's relevant.
But I mean, November we kept 3 clean sheets. So if you're looking at it defensively, we're solid because we only conceded 2 goals in November.
Yeah.
And then going into December, it starts off well with 3 wins in a row, and then obviously ends with 2 disappointing defeats against Middlesbrough and Huddersfield.
Both of those games really annoy me, because Middlesbrough, their first goal, it was very, very avoidable, and the second goal, I think the original cross should have been blocked, and the defending was pretty naff considering our standards that we've had for most of the season. So I think we could have, on another day, got that. And Huddersfield, don't get me started on that game. We had about 10,000 chances.
It was
23
exaggeration there, and there was about 6 on target.
Yes, mental. Brennan missed practically an open goal. That game just...
That was very frustrating, that match.
And then, yeah, that Middlesbrough game, I think that rivals harder for one of the worst performances under Steve Cooper.
I think it's only, you could say no because Middlesbrough are doing well, whereas Cardiff are a bit naff.
I think it's up there though, because it wasn't. It kind of came out of nowhere, because before that we had those draws in November, and then we were picking up that we beat Swansea. That Swansea away game was brilliant, and then we Obviously beat Hull, Peterborough. We really picked up form. We got up to like 7th, and looking really strong. And then we go and lose to a playoff rival in quite a bit of a whimper, really, which is a rare occasion under Cooper. And then you look at obviously Huddersfield. They were doing well as well. Obviously, they still are. And yeah, Lee Nichols played very well that game. To be honest, he's had a very good season in general. From a neutral point of view, I'm saying that as well. But yeah, I mean Huddersfield defended well, but we just couldn't find the net. And remember, we were at times for the whole December we were struggling with injuries, and yet we were still doing well at the start of it. And we had obviously Lowe had been out for a while. We had suspensions to like Colback for a bit. He had that red card against Luton. So, we had a few players out. And obviously, we had a few more injuries, didn't we, at the end of January? I know we're going further down, but we had Graben injured, and we were saying, who are we going to play? I haven't got Taylor either, and we go and get Davis, and he's been amazing. We've really sorted out our depth, and I know we've got a load. It just says a lot about how good we are. Like, got 3 defensive injuries right now, and yet I'm pretty confident. Well, very confident, to be honest, that we can get the top 6.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Harris, right, you got to give him Lee Nichols credit. We did, me and LJP were on Wilder Sport TV Championship Roundup show for about 2 hours on Sunday. And I think there was, we had to make a team out of Forest, Bristol City and Huddersfield players, and then the whole championship team of the season so far. And I think Nichols was the goalkeeper for both of them, the teams. But now going into January, 4 wins, 1 loss, and 1 win against Arsenal in the FA Cup. Now, Luke, how do you think how January went?
Well, I enjoyed January for lots of reasons. Well, the Arsenal game, I felt first half.
Did you meet someone, Luke?
Oh yeah, just this guy. He was really? At the game as well. Yeah. But starting with Arsenal, I think first half was probably our best defensive performance all season. Kept them they had minimal chances, and then I think we tried to play it similar to how we did the Liverpool game. And second half we attacked quite a bit more, and we got a goal. A very well taken goal. Some Arsenal fans said it should have been a handball. I mean, it's about half a yard away from it, and he's trying to smash it away. You can't move your hand out of the way in time, and we scored. That was a very, very, very good game. Big question is always it's red. It might look in the photos, it looks a bit pink sometimes, but it is red. Do you want me to take through your whole of January, Owen?
So January was we beat Arsenal 1-0, and then we beat Millwall 1-0. And if I remember, we had about 24 chances in that one, and the last one went in.
Oh yeah, mental.
And then
mental.
We beat them down the A52 2.
Oh yes, that was so nice. I was in the background of a Doran Tall block. I must say that. If you watch it back, I'm like, there's like in the Trent, and there's like a staircase, and then there's another room right behind Doran Tall. So just a casual flex. Anyway, yeah.
I'll watch it back tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then we beat Barnsley 3-0 in the game that you were at, and that picture confirmed.
Yes, I think I'll just
You had that load up so quickly as well.
Yeah, it's saved on there.
That's the go-to logo.
Oh yeah, definitely, just top to. But yeah, and the actual Barnsley game itself, it wasn't the best performance, but I felt we were dominant. disrespecting Simon there. It was a very dominant performance, and what I very much enjoyed, Keenan Davis was absolutely just a different gravy. Brandon Johnson was world class. Jet Spence is just, if Brandon Johnson's a different gravy, then Jet Spence is another level. Honestly,
the finest gravy you can get.
Okay, the best. I would not be surprised if you see that man playing in the Champions League in a few years' time, Jet Spence, because he's honestly, even Brennan Johnson as well. They've both got the potential to be right at the top of Europe.
But that's the sad thing about Steve Cooper's mentality. We win 3-0 from the very start of that interview. He just looked, he looked quite annoyed. You just won 3-0. He would have said, well, I like the fact we won, but I don't want us to be that aggressive. We think you just get 3 goals, edge past them 1-0, take your time, lads. With no need to be that extravagant. Okay? I want really dull, negative football.
Oh, no, I don't know if you remember, it was all over Twitter at the time. Chris Hughton this was the most passionate and buzzing he had been after a Forest match, drawing 0-0 with Barnsley, and Steve Cooper is triggered after a 3-0 victory, a dominant 3-0 victory at home. That is just the levels. I think Sam didn't even have to make a save that I could remember in that game. It says Barnes had 2 on-target shots, but I don't know where they've got that from, because I don't remember any.
All I remember from that 0-0 draw with Barnsley last year is Grant missing a sitter, one of the many sitters that he missed last season.
Honestly, I don't remember.
I wonder why, because Chris Hughton was a manager. I wonder why Jack Colback was terrible. Chris Hughton was manager. Oh, shock. Imagine my shock.
He just managed to, I think only Warren McKenna were the quality players. Martin was decent, but the rest, he just made the rest of the team look
Garner.
rubbish.
No, Garner transformed a really bad team from.
We would have finished 20th if it wasn't for
Garner. Non-PG words, just slightly okay.
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar. Literally, that's the fact that we all said in the summer. You know what? We'll give Hughton a bit longer. I really want to question why we all said that. We should have really seen it coming.
I remember reading a tweet. Someone said, "Right, that's that season over. Utterly rubbish." #Hughton. I'm thinking, "Geez, that's a bit extreme." Give him a bit of time. I'm looking back on that, I'm thinking, that man is a mastermind. That guy's a mastermind.
I just think the board accepted after his first 5 games when we drew 4 of them really dull. So we drew to bloody Rotherham at home. We just thought, you know what, we'll just see the season out, but it'll be really, really dull. Blocked. Okay, interesting. Didn't see that comment. I looked behind you. That's what I saw.
Okay, interesting. Okay, where were we?
Okay, now we're going to February. Obviously, beating Leicester 4-1, then beating Blackburn 2-0, and then drawn to Stoke 2-2. Ryan Yates late equaliser there, and then Preston, we drew 2-0, and I remember that game. It's there with another report, one of the poorest performances under Cooper, because I remember that game it was like Hughton 2.0, and then we bounced back against Bristol City, beating them 2-0. We had a rocky patch in mid-February with Stoke and Preston, and I mean, I don't think any of us expected to see any of us expected us to beat Leicester 4-1.
No, there's no words to describe that game. Just unbelievable. Absolutely tore the cup holders apart. Amazing. You mentioned Preston. Yeah, it was a weird one, that, because it very unlike Cooper to he didn't really change the system, which I thought, what are you playing at? But Preston were doing all right at the time, but overall it should have really been a win. Stoke, we weren't. I think it was the end of a 3-game week. but that's a bit of an naff excuse. And yeah, Yates, even though we didn't play very well, the fact that we still have that Steve Cooper mentality of right,
And
we've got bloody Worrell in goal, but let's not give up, and we still managed to get an equaliser. Says everything.
Hashtag fight till the end.
If that was Houghton, we would have lost like 3-0 generally. But no, we drew. And based off the circumstances, a man down because your goalkeeper decided to punch the opposition. Your centre half in there, literally amazing.
If that was Houghton, he would have got every single player to just line up on the goal line. If that was Chris Houghton, if that
probably. Yates, Yates. I agree with that comment from the corner. Yates is just incredible. Like the transformation. I've never been a full-on Ryan Yates hater, as you saw in my video I did recently, where I thought I was quite funny. Just seeing how many people slated him. There's more tweets I didn't even put in, and it literally, I had to believe that he could do well. But what he's doing right now is just amazing. And just to see the way that Mr. Cooper has just unlocked the potential of all these players, even players that were actually good under Houghton, which was a very difficult thing to find. Players like McKenna and Wall are even better. Arguably, Myton's not as good, but then again, he's had injuries and he's not been playing as much. But still, it's just brilliant to see, really, isn't it?
Yeah. LeQuan just rinsing Annie and Simon. If you know, you know.
That Stoke game, I remember it was obviously the end of a 3-game week, and you could definitely feel that. And then obviously we go down to 10 men and everyone virtually thinks, game over, we've lost this game now. But the team spirit and the mentality, is like the never give up mentality kicks in.
Hashtag fight till the end.
I'm
going to get that pretty little hoodie now, just to... Yeah.
The England under 21s games on YouTube, so I watch it.
Watch Jeff
Spencer. I've got the main England game here. I'm now going to load up the England under 21s match on here. I'm a scout. I've got all these screens on at once.
To be honest, I care more about the under 21s than the actual men's team.
It's more important.
They've actually got something to play for, whereas the men's are just playing pointless friendly. It's like, pause the season for some friendlies. What a load of sugar.
Yeah, that Stoke game, it's just really amazing to see how we still managed to get something from it, because so many times before we would never have done it, and just the never giving up attitude is amazing. And I was so. You look at I've gone mental quite a few times in my vlogs this season just because of how much goals have meant, and it was just such a powerful moment. I thought, there's a sense of wow, we've actually equalised in this situation. So it was amazing, really. Even though we didn't win, it was great.
It's just mental to think that a couple of years ago, the Sabri would have decided that we're conceding some of the most goals in stoppage time, and now we're under Cooper, a team that are scoring some of the most late goals in the league. It's just absolutely mental.
Jimmy Garner lining up for England.
Yeah. Now going into March, if we discount the FA Cup, we were unbeaten in the league with 2 wins and 1 draw, scoring 8 goals in the league.
Let me have a look for you.
And then in the cup, we conceded 2 goals, but scored 2 goals, so not bad. Obviously, now we may as well talk about Saturday. Blackpool away. Now, obviously, it's looking likely that Graben is going to be back for this game because obviously was in light training before the international break. So what system would you two play?
Starting on the bench.
We definitely wouldn't play him from the start for this one, but in time, you probably do put Grabs back into the side with Davis. And I know Johnson's been playing. Obviously, more's a striker than a winger, but the fact he can play both is really good. You probably do take out. I mean, we've been playing like two. Well, I mean, there's been times recently since Lolly's come back, which he's like his old self right now. We had like Lolly, Zink, and bloody Johnson all on the pitch at once with like Surridge and Davis. Like we're going all out attack. Against Liverpool, we had like loads of attackers on all at once. It's great to have all these options. We have Martin playing as well, so I wouldn't start grab him yet, but I think in time probably would do. I mean, he's not going to be the long term future, so you arguably you would choose Surridge ahead of him because he's actually Grabs is our player, but he's younger. He's going to be here longer than Grabban is arguably. I probably think he would be because I think Surridge has done really well for us. Grabs, as good as he is, he's not going to be around much longer for Forest.
Yeah, I think
Davis or give Grabban a new contract, says Lequan, and I know Grabs has been a really
keep Davis,
but like you said, keep Davis because he's younger. I mean, I've been impressed with Davis's hold-up play since he's come in. Like I remember against Blackburn where he holds the ball up and then takes on 5 players, runs the length of most of the length of the pitch, slips it through to James Garner, who scores.
Yeah, honestly, Davis is such a good player. Like he's not just. It's so many people just base strikers off how many goals they score. Look at how he plays. Like he just batters his way through the opposition. And that Blackburn goal, the first goal, it wasn't the most spectacular goal, but for me, it's got to be one of the best goals of the season from start to finish because the way Davis got it from the halfway line twice was on the floor at one stage. He was bundled off the ball and he still kept going. Gave it to Garner. It finished it really well. It was just such a brilliant goal from start to finish. And the way Davis just said, you know what, this is my ball. I'm going to score or create a goal. And it was just, really good to see. So, I think it's as good as Grabs has been for Forest. And he's proven the doubters wrong this season. One of them being me, for sure. I think you probably do have to keep Keenan because he's younger. And he clearly loves it here as well.
Okay, Albania, England just kicked off now.
Right, shall I do the team that I'll play against Blackpool for you, Owen?
Yeah, go on.
Right, so, there's a lot of defensive injuries. I still would go with the back three, though. I'd go Worrell, Figueiredo, Panzo. And then, I'd play Panzo. I think he's best chance to play. So that or Mbe So, but I feel like we've signed him because we've not really got any other options. But I'll go Figs, Panzo with Worrell. Left wing back, I'll play Lera. I think it's nice. I still can't say his name yet. Larea, yeah. Take Cole back out because I think we just needed time to ease Larea into the team. But I'll play him there, as Laquan said. Garner and Yates to midfield, they've not put a foot wrong. And they're both world-class players. We know that. So, yeah. And obviously Spence right wing back. I'll probably go Zink in the 10 because he's an absolute legend for no reason. He's just he's one of my favourite Forest players. No reason for that.
He watches Radcast as well, which occasionally gets uploaded.
His taste in football YouTube is just mwah. But I'll probably play Zinkenegger in the 10 and John Owen Davis up front. That's why I'll go for Blackpool. Oh, not forget Horvath in goal.
I mean, obviously, you mentioned the attacking threat that we got, and I think if we're ever like needing a goal or something, like to win a game, I feel like Cooper, what he could do is, I feel like he could play Lolly at left wing back if
Yeah.
like a goal, because that would like prove that we need to like we're going super attacking in that.
Yeah, I think Lai was in my mind to play, but if you do drop someone, you probably would put him in like the 10 role instead of Zinchenko, because I know he can be a bit inconsistent, but I still rate him very, very highly for no reason whatsoever. I just think he's a really, really good footballer. Not like he's in my DMs or anything.
I think it is it's unlikely, to be honest, that both Lorraine and Panzer will play. I wouldn't be against it though if they did, because I think they both need to get chances.
Yeah.
I mean, Lorraine probably, when I say that, both of them have got an even chance because of the fact there's injuries. So yeah, I think it'd be good to see them get a go, and I'd be surprised with the 3 defensive injuries if they don't get a go at some point. But I think Figs needs to play because he's proven that he's still a very good option. And Figs is the kind of player though that he does need to have good players around him to consistently perform at a good level. You know, we saw under Houghton how terrible he was. Even with Warren and McKenna next to him, he had Cyrus Christie and Gaetang Bong or Tyler Blackett next to him, so you can't really count that. So you know, I mean, personally, I'd start Lolly because I think he's really looking sharp, and this is a golden opportunity to add a prime Joe Lolly again. I mean, you know, with the abundance of talent we already have, if we were to come and maybe not a prime Joe Lolly because he's older, but if we were to just add someone of Lolly's caliber at his best, you know, that's quite a dangerous thing to be able to have if you want to try and go for promotion. It could be like a secret weapon for us. But yeah, I mean, yeah, fair team, to be honest. And I rate Zinchenko very highly, even though he's very inconsistent. He watches Razcast, so you know.
Yeah, cutting edge. I wonder what he would have thought if he watched the entire episode. I wonder what he would have thought to some of the stuff that Bryce said in that video.
I mean, I don't even know whether he watched it or not because he just liked the tweet on Twitter. I believe on Twitter. It was on
if he did that, I really wonder what he thought.
if he watched it, then I would be amazed. I mean, if he has watched it, then I want to know, is Philip Zinchenko subscribed to Rads?
Dun, dun, dun.
We need to find this information out.
If he is, then yeah, keep him forever.
all of a sudden, your opinion has changed.
Yeah, absolutely. No reason at all.
Okay, so now it's where do you think we'll finish in the table? You start, right?
In my video that I did yesterday, which you should all go and check out.
Imagine not watching that video already.
It's top-notch content. I said 4th only. I'd take higher, obviously, but I'll go 4th for Nottingham Forest Football Club.
I think 4th or 5th. Yeah, I'm gonna say 4th. I'm gonna be a bit more optimistic, but I think 4th or 5th. I reckon we will finish in one of those places.
Okay, yeah, I reckon 4th or 5th. Hopefully we get playoffs. Just the only team we don't really want to face in playoffs is Middlesbrough, because obviously we'll have to do without Jed Spence, and we know what influence.
I hope they just don't get the playoffs. There's zero chance of us playing them.
Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in today. Thanks Rads and Luke for coming on.
No problem.
And I've one final thing to say. We're Nottingham Forest. We fight till the end. Thanks for watching.
Isn't that Derby County? But we also fight as well.
Yeah, but
anyway.
we